I would like to call to order the Winthrop School Committee meeting of November 27th at 6 p.m. This meeting is being held in the Harvey Hearing Room of Town Hall on Metcalf Square. It is being televised live. We are also on Zoom, hopefully. And when we get that, may I have the roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yeah.
Mr. Matucci?
Yep.
Ms. Petrie?
Here.
Ms. Swope?
Here.
Ms. Barry?
Here.
Ms. Powell?
Here. Please rise. Pledge of Allegiance. Julie Berry, can you lead us? Sure. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on Zoom tonight? Checking right now.
Somebody just popped in. Hi, Mrs. Chavez, can you hear us on Zoom?
I just muted myself.
Okay, we
Or is
just
it just
opened
me?
up for public comment in case you have any.
Oh, I missed something then. Yes, I do.
All right.
Okay.
I did appreciate your last meeting with the principals presenting all their MCAS scores and what they're gonna do about it. I think I was disappointed, and the reason I was, is there were so many acronyms used. I couldn't keep up with it, and I don't know what happened to me. I just would like some basic idea of what the actual plan is for each school. Leave out the acronyms and just tell me, we're gonna do A, B, and C, and not these other things. I mean, there has to be another way to give that out to the public than the way it was presented.
Thank you for your comment. We will be having the individual principals into the schools, and there will be a more in-depth discussion, and I will make sure to make note about the acronyms.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Is there any other public comment?
I do not see any other hands raised for public comment.
Okay, we have no visitors tonight. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of November 13th, 2023?
Motion?
Second. Motion by Ms. Swope, second by Ms. Berry. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. May I have a motion to approve warrant SVW 24-8 in the amount of $287,557.38?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve payroll warrant SPW 24-7A in the amount of $1,100?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Ms. Swope. Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Stay.
Mr. Matucci?
Stay.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve FY 2023 invoices?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Berry, second by Ms. Leonard. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So there's a National Grid bill here, right, for $32,000 and change. And the only supporting document is the bill that was paid that month, and it just says past due balance. How did we get, that's a couple of months, why
It
did we
goes
not
back to
pay bills?
2021.
Yep,
The bills aren't easy to put in there, all of them, so I just put the one that showed the balance the best. I confirmed it with National Grid. That's strictly for electricity on the
Yeah.
ATC. That's,
but we don't question why we didn't pay bills for a couple of months.
oh, I have lots of questions. I haven't figured it out.
I mean, it looks like we paid the bill the prior month, but there was a reoccurring past due balance of 32 grand.
Yeah.
Correct.
I just
It was
don't
bills
get
that
that.
were not processed through the business office that we found after, once Dylan came on and started going through
and breaking down the electric.
Didn't they
bills.
notice that there's past due balance of 32,000 every month they were paying a bill? Because they were paying, they paid the bill the month before, they paid the charge for that month, but they just kept this. And I don't know how to dig back to see where it comes from.
It goes back to 2021.
No, I know, but,
I can,
and I'm surprised National Grid let it go though.
yeah, I am too.
So, and, I mean, they put on their past due balance, that there's a past due balance, and typically, if you see a past due balance, you go back and say, what do I have that's due? And I don't believe that was done. So Dylan has spent the past 3 weeks, digging back to find out. It took us a while to figure out what bills weren't paid. Why they weren't paid is a question that remains open, but we know that they are due, and they're bills that were sent to us that did not get paid.
All right, and just one more thing, and then I'll go. And this, brings me back to my 10-year-old question on solar credits and where we see them and where we don't. Now, I know it's not on National Grid bill, I don't think, but we do receive solar credits in two respects. One from the high school, whatever, and I have no idea about that one, but then we have another one through the town that we get a portion of credits and also debits for that's paid monthly. Where does that show up, and where can we see that at some point? Have you looked, you have a little understanding
I
of
have
it?
a little bit of, I
But
would
you
say I
haven't
have
had
a
a
little
chance to
understanding.
really,
No.
but I would appreciate through the chair if we can get some more clarification on the school's portion of that.
Jen, can I have a follow-up for that?
Yes.
I know on my personal National Grid bill, the solar shows up on credits, but it doesn't show up even with a name. It just shows up that I have received a credit. So I don't know if that's.
Yeah, but
the way
that's
it is on that
not
bill.
through the town one here, because this is the solar, there's two solars in the town, right? One is a town project that certain departments get a credit from, and then there's a debit to it for the cost of doing that, right? And, we pretty much know what the credits are. I don't know what all the debits are, and I'm just not sure where it's accounted for, but there's nothing on a bill.
It's not on national.
Correct.
It's through
It's through a third party.
a third party.
Yeah.
And I guess to follow up on your question, have we been paying interest on that?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's the good thing.
Jen,
Yes. Mr. Martucci.
so I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've never seen bills like that before attached to the warrant. I shouldn't say that when I first got on, I did see all of them, but we stopped that. Anyways, I'm assuming it's because of their past due. The ones that were sent to us were past due. So they were missed, so now what is the procedures in place that doesn't happen again? We have to prevent that from happening again.
Procedures here. This is the procedure.
Yeah, and I think noticing that era of things not being paid, I mean, year to year, you'll find one or two
Oh,
things.
Of course,
things
like these
that-
other, I mean,
things
the
that-
same things
yeah,
that
some of
slip
the
through the
things
cracks.
Those are
get
mine.
missed. Sometimes vendors don't send you the invoices prior to the close, so that's one issue. That may be in some of these, such as some of the minor show
Mhm.
hardware ones. But the process is to pay the bills when they come in, and make sure that as they're coming in and they're given to the business manager, that he takes them and pays them in the month that they come in. So it's not a process not an expectation that will change. However, now that we've noticed, especially with the electric bills, it's something that we can't miss again. Now that Dylan's on board, and he knows it's an issue, which is, new to us to know that it's an issue until you actually see the bills. I personally don't see all of those bills. I see some bills of things that come to me. But now it's on the radar to make sure that as those bills are coming in, they're being paid. And I think Dylan's background and understanding that is super helpful for us. And he's
Yes.
the one that picked up on it to begin with. So that's helpful.
Any further discussion? May I have a roll call?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Martucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. We have no buildings and grounds, we have no subcommittee reports, superintendent's report.
We do,
Please.
and although it was a short 2 weeks since we met because of the holiday in between, Winthrop Public Schools was very busy during that time frame. So just to go through some of the highlights of our schools, I attended the Veterans Day celebration on the lawn of the town hall, and it was, a wonderful celebration. Phil did an amazing job. We had great speakers, and many people from the town who attended. For me, scanning the crowd, loved to see the Winthrop Public Schools students that were in attendance. So we had students from our soccer team, we had students in general, but also a fair amount of kids from the soccer team, the football team, the cheerleaders, and lots of Boy Scouts who were in attendance. So it was really nice to see them there, and to hear Mr. Norman Gill, who's, I think, in his 90s, correct? Be able to stand up and speak and have the kids hear that and kind of take all of that in, so that was great. Congratulations to both of our football teams, Powder Puff and our boys' football team, who were both successful during the Thanksgiving Day games that they played. Yes, there was controversy, and in the Powder Puff game, we dealt with that as we deal with any issues that come about. Spoke with some parents and some of our students, and appreciated the feedback that we did get from the parents. I had the opportunity to speak with the superintendent from Revere Public Schools to make sure we were all on the same page. And moving forward to next year, I don't think we'll change anything in terms of how Winthrop Public Schools conducts its business. When we have people on our field, we staff that particular Powder Puff game, same way we staff any football game, so we had plenty of staff. The Winthrop Police Department, as always, shows up and gives us coverage. So we were happy for the fact that we knew we had our people on the ground. So we had some conversation about that, and more will come regarding next year. I got to see Freaky Friday. I don't know if I talked about that. I think that was after the last meeting. As usual, the drama department doesn't disappoint. The kids were fabulous. It was great to see so many community members in attendance as well in our auditorium, so congratulations. And thanks to families and our staff. There was a fair amount of staff there as well. There is a Winthrop High School parent PTC, Parent Teacher Council meeting tonight at 6:30. Report cards went out for the high school students last week, so make sure you are checking your iParent account so you can check in on your students' grades. I also attended the country fair, which is always a huge take in for our students and a great fundraiser with funds being used for multiple things that we do during the school year, including supporting our families in need. It was crowded as usual, but it was a really good turnout. Lots of great prizes were given out, and thank you to the community who once again steps up and provides, and families who provide a lot of those raffles that are put out for our families. So the middle school, the Stuco had a successful Spirit Week. They organized a Spirit Week at the middle school before the holiday break. They have a site council meeting this Wednesday at 4 o'clock via Zoom, and they are prepping for their annual winter fair, which is December 8th. That's also a great fundraiser where monies that are raised for that activity go to our families in need at the middle school level. The ATC, I don't know if I talked about the trunk or treat, how successful it was, but I think it's important to know the PTO raised $3,000 for that event. And during that money is used directly to help support families during the Thanksgiving Day time. So lots of gift cards that went to families for different food banks, including, not food banks, but food stores, including the Winthrop Marketplace. So very successful, and there certainly the money is going to good use. The Winter Fair for the ATC is scheduled for December 15th, another great fundraiser which supports more winter events for our students and families. The Turkey Trot was also sponsored by the ATC PTO. They've been a very busy group, another huge success. The kids had a great time. And I'm happy to report, bringing back International Night. So we had paused International Night during the pandemic, but on Thursday, January 26th, at the ATC from 6 to 7, there'll be music, there'll be food from all different areas of the world. They had done the 10th anniversary, the 10th annual International Night back in 2019. So we're super excited to get that back up and running for all of our families. And it's for all families, not just our students from different countries, but for all of our families to get to come in and understand and look and share the different countries that we love to show off during this event. The Fort Banks received a new flag. Big thanks to Rich Honan for getting us the new flag, and to John English and Mikhail Filipko for organizing and getting that set up. It was definitely needed. November 30th at the GFB is Family Game Night, and that's sponsored by the Winthrop Parent Network. That's from 6:30 to 7:30, and their book fair is coming for November 29th and 30th. In terms of overall, Northeast Regional Vocational School came out to speak with our 7th graders on November 15th. The students learned about all the vocational shops that are offered, as well as the academics, the sports, and the extracurricular activities that the Voc has to offer. It was interesting and helpful for our students because we got to talk to them about what they need to be doing in 7th and 8th grade to get to the Voc and make themselves a viable candidate for the vocational school for grade 9. Another exciting opportunity we have, Gianna Femilari, I don't know if you know Gianna, but Gianna is a former Cummings School student, and she is now a doctoral candidate at UMass Boston. She has she spoke with me for a good period of time to talk about a project that she's doing as part of her doctoral program, and it provides some teacher resilience support for our teachers. So it's called the Achiever Resilience Curriculum, ARC. It's a comprehensive, flexible, and time-efficient teacher training that involves 4 weekly asynchronous online modules to coach and support teachers in integrating well-being practices into their everyday lives. So we put that out to the ATC staff, and it was met with some really good feedback. So Gianna is going to be able to take that project on, work with some of our staff. And one of the things that it offers is different ways to take care of your own well-being and stress relief. It also comes with access to a whole bunch of activities that teachers that participate can use, but that they can then also share with the rest of our teaching staff. So we're excited to have Gianna come out. Number one, because she's a Winthrop kid, but she's an adult now. But she's also an Arthur T. Cummings School grad, so people were pretty pumped up about that. We are continuing to try to look at different things that we can do for our teaching staff, which is different than just paying them and saying thank you for showing up every day. So looking into some additional supports through some other programs, maybe some yoga for our teachers, if they want to take advantage of that through our community. The other couple of little items, CASA, over the holiday break, they're going to be doing an open recreation night, and that's going to be on Tuesday, December 26th through Friday, the 30th of December, and it will be from 6 to 8 o'clock at night, and it will be in collaboration with the Winthrop Police Youth and Recreation. More will be coming out to parents. We'll be sending those out through the schools. And there's also going to be, and it is titled this, Pizza with the Cops at the E.B. Newton Cultural Center in the Lyceum Room on December 11th. This is also going to be handed out to students at the high school. So this is for high school youth that will be from 6 to 8. They can stop by and have conversation with some of our local police officers. There's no agenda for that meeting. It's pretty informal. And again, it's just that working collaboration with the police department and getting our students to be in touch with and know the police officers in our town, so that they feel comfortable, whether the police officers are in our schools or whether they're in the community, or whether they're touching base with you down at Yarrow Beach on a Tuesday night in the summer, to get to know them and feel more comfortable with them. 3 other minor things, not minor, but 3 additional things that are more public relation. But Amy's Breakfast with Santa is going to be on December 3rd, after the 10 o'clock Mass at St. Michael's the Archangel Parish. The class of 2024 is hosting a Skate with Santa and a holiday bake sale on December 10th from 2 to 3:30 at the Mike Ruzioni Center down at the rink. We don't have ice skate rentals, but if you reach out at your school, perhaps we can get some information if somebody doesn't have skates to be able to lend some skates out. And their class of 2024 is hosting a 10% night at the Winthrop Arms on Tuesday, December 12th. 10% of the orders will go directly to the class of 2024. And that is my report for this week.
Fantastic. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Yes, Ms. Swope?
Lisa, I
Yes.
think you wanted to mention the Shore Collaborative.
So Shore Collaborative, Ms. Swope sits on the Shore Collaborative Committee, and she is moving on to be on the town council. So at some point, Chairman Powell and myself will have to talk about another member perhaps taking over that role. That's Tuesday, the second Tuesday of every month at
Yeah.
4:30, beginning at 4:30, at Shore Collaborative in Chelsea. And are they virtual anymore or in person?
No, they're also
In
virtual.
person. So we will work on that and bring that back to the committee, but if anybody has an expressed interest in being the representative, you can certainly reach out to Ms. Powell.
Fantastic, thank you. Homeschool applications,
We have none this week.
appointments, resignations, retirements.
So retirements, we have Brian Davis, who is a high school math teacher, and Lauren Sennett, who is a high school special ed teacher. Both have put in their notice that they intend to retire for the next school year. You have that in your packet. And postings, long-term sub in grade 1, food service worker, and a long-term sub in kindergarten. The long-term substitutes are for maternity leaves, so we are working on those maternity leaves as we speak. And the long-term sub for kindergarten ESP, another maternity leave. We have no leaves of absence at this time.
Okay. Under unfinished business, we have the policy review, section A. This has been to the policy subcommittee, and it now comes to us for approval. We're going to be approving this in sections, but we will also be approving the final document. So with that, before I open discussions, can I have a motion to approve the policy review, section A?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Swope, second by Ms. Petrie. I will note that there's one section that was in our packets, ADA, that has to do with with the school committee goals for the year. It's outdated. It was not part of the recommendations to include. It was, so that is not going to be, that's not part of what we're voting on tonight. And the smoking policy, we had approved an update in that, so Lisa.
Yeah, so the original packet that I gave you that you received on Thursday, there was some wording left out of the policy that is being recommended, and the wording was left out because we were looking at the original policy, which didn't have the wording in it, and then we learned that that particular policy that we originally looked at had been updated to include additional information, so I put the new recommended policy that you can substitute into your packet for tobacco. And the main issue was, it talks about tobacco use. So MASC recommends you include the types of tobacco use. In our last policy update, I believe it was 2021, September of 2021, we had revised the use to be the use and/or the appearance of tobacco use. So that was left out of the policy that I put in your packet on Thursday, the term, the appearance of. So I updated that and gave you a clean copy of that at your site.
Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Lettieri.
On, and I don't know if this is in that section or not, but towards the end, Title IX Coordinator, and then it has a list of complaint managers for each school, and it just has Eileen and Nora still in there for, I
Is
don't
that
know
in
if
the
this is.
updated policy, or is it in the?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
This was in the packet.
So there's two things in your packet. I put the original policy in your packet, and I also put a section that said recommended policy after review, but I can check that. Can you just tell me the
Right.
policy? I can just make sure it's the updated one.
There was a
No?
Title IX Coordinators, it was right
What's
after.
the letter? It says file A something in the top right.
It doesn't, I don't know.
I'll check it just to make
Yeah,
sure
just
that it
check it.
has the correct title name, which is Jennifer O'Connell. I believe I
Yeah,
It has-
they're on it.
substituted that.
Yeah, okay.
And it will change, again, as we move forward through the school years, if General Connell was a Title IX person, now leaves. And the good thing with putting this through the MASC and being able to have it a public document is that when those things happen in real time, we can in real time change the policy just to amend that person's name, and it will populate onto the website, which will be the living document of our policies versus the just in office, big blue binder now will no longer be a policy, because people can't see that. So if we change a policy and it goes into the big blue binder, unless you need to look at that policy, no one ever sees it. But now it will automatically be on the MASC website in real time, once we change it.
So do we need to have the name, people named, or can we just be the title?
You don't, under Title IX and harassment policies, it's best practice to have the person's name identified so that if somebody does have a complaint or a concern, that they want to contact the correct person to be able to do that. So that may be a policy that changes depending upon who is working in the district.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Leonard?
Yes.
Mr. Lettieri?
Yes.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Petrie?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Ms. Barry?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes. Public relations, other than what you've already listed.
For myself, I think I included everything I had, but if anyone else has more to add.
Hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, we are adjourned.